Imagine stepping onto live television, thinking you're about to discuss your success, only to realize you've walked into an ambush. The host has an agenda, the questions are loaded, and the entire country is watching. But instead of crumbling, you turn the tables and expose the truth in a way no one saw coming. The email arrived late in the afternoon, a brief, professional message from the producers of The National Spotlight, one of the most watched talk shows in America. They wanted Jordan Cole, tech entrepreneur and CEO of Nexora, to be a guest on their upcoming segment about diversity in business. Jordan had seen this before. A mainstream platform suddenly remembering black entrepreneurs exist, parading them around for a few minutes of applause before moving on to the next trending topic. But this felt different. Nexora wasn't just another startup. They had just secured a $250 million defense contract, outbidding some of the biggest names in tech. That wasn't luck. It was 2 decades of relentless work. Still, he hesitated before accepting. Something felt off. His assistant, Lisa, picked up on his unease. "You sure about this? You know how these shows work. They love a success story, but they love tearing one down even more." Jordan leaned back in his chair. "I'll handle it. Besides, it's national exposure. Let's see what they have to say." Lisa exhaled, shaking her head. "Just don't let them bait you." He nodded, but deep down he knew the game. If this was a setup, they were playing chess with the wrong man. The morning of the interview, Jordan arrived at the NBN studios in New York. The green room was cold, sterile. A young producer barely looked up from her clipboard. "Mr. Cole, thanks for being here. We'll mic you up in 5. No small talk. No warm-up. Just in and out, like a transaction." As he sat in the makeup chair, an assistant powdered his face with practiced indifference. The monitor on the wall showed the live broadcast. Celebrity scandals, a cooking demo, and then a transition card. Coming up next, the black tech boom, talent or special treatment. Jordan clenched his jaw. So this was their angle. But if they thought they had the upper hand, they were in for a surprise. The set of the National Spotlight was designed to look warm, inviting, soft blues and golds, a glass coffee table between the host's chair and the guests. But the cameras hovered like silent predators, capturing every movement, every expression. Jordan adjusted his suit jacket as he sat across from Rebecca Hayes, the show's lead anchor, a seasoned journalist with a reputation for asking tough questions. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Jordan Cole," she began smoothly. "CEO of Nexora. A true American success story." Jordan gave a polite nod. "Appreciate you having me." She leaned in slightly, flipping through her cue cards. "Now, let's get right into it. Your company recently secured a $250 million government contract, beating out some of the biggest names in tech. That's impressive." Jordan recognized the tactic. Build him up first. Make it seem like they respected his achievements. He gave a measured response. "It was a long process, but we put in the work. We developed a security encryption system that outperformed our competitors. Simple as that." Rebecca crossed her legs. "Some have called it groundbreaking." A subtle pause. "But others have raised questions." Jordan didn't flinch. "Questions?" She picked up a card, reading aloud. "Some industry experts say Nexora benefited from federal diversity incentives, that companies like yours have an edge in securing contracts because agencies are looking to diversify their vendors, that perhaps this wasn't just about being the best, but about meeting a quota." There it was, the real reason he was here. Jordan let a beat pass before responding. "I've heard that argument before. It's funny, though. When a black entrepreneur wins, it's special treatment. But when a legacy firm, run by the same families for generations, lands those same deals, nobody questions it." The air in the studio shifted. Off camera, the producers exchanged glances. Rebecca held her ground. So, you're saying race played no role at all in your success? Jordan chuckled, shaking his head. Let me ask you this. When SpaceX won its NASA contracts, was it because Elon Musk met a diversity quota? When Jeff Bezos secured government deals for Blue Origin, was it because of his background? Or do we only ask that question when the CEO looks like me? The silence in the studio was loud, but Rebecca wasn't done. She had one last card to play, the one designed to break him. She set her cue cards down. Jordan, I think it's fair to say you're passionate about this, but let me ask you something. Jordan gave a slight nod, waiting. Do you think some of this outrage is exaggerated? She asked, pausing for effect. After all, your success proves the system isn't as stacked against black entrepreneurs as some claim. The audacity. Jordan could feel the heat creeping up his spine, but he didn't let it show. Instead, he chuckled quietly, shaking his head. You know, he said, voice measured. It's funny how people love to use one success story as proof that a problem doesn't exist. Rebecca's smile flickered. Jordan leaned forward slightly. Let me put it this way. If one person climbs out of a burning building, do you point at them and say, "See, the fire wasn't that bad"? Rebecca opened her mouth, hesitated, then closed it. Jordan wasn't done. The fact that I made it doesn't mean the system isn't broken. It just means I fought twice as hard to get through it. Even the studio crew had stopped moving. Rebecca adjusted in her seat, trying to regain control. I understand your perspective, but let's talk about another side of this. She turned slightly toward the cameras, her voice taking on that carefully neutral tone used for damage control. Some might say your frustration isn't really about race, it's about resentment toward larger corporations. Jordan exhaled through his nose, then locked eyes with her. Resentment? Number accountability? Absolutely. Another beat of silence. Rebecca shifted in her seat, but Jordan had already won. He didn't need to say another word. Within hours, clips of the exchange flooded social media. Some called Jordan a hero. Others called him combative. But one thing was certain. Nobody could ignore him anymore. So, what do you think? Does success mean playing by the rules of a broken system, or does it mean rewriting the rules entirely? Let us know in the comments. And if you believe more stories like this need to be told, hit that subscribe button. Did you know? Just one like from you can give me the motivation to create more awesome videos. And by subscribing with the notification bell on, you'll never miss out on my next amazing content. Don't forget to leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this video or suggest a topic you'd like to see next.